Bismillah.
I have squandered my days with plans of many things. This was not among them. For all we ought to have thought, and have not thought. All we ought to have said, have not said. All we ought to have done, have not done. I pray thee, God, for forgiveness.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So, welcome to my channel. I wanted to start off with just explaining the purpose of why I'm even making this. I would cite you back to the Battle of Tabuk with the Prophet ﷺ. My pronunciation isn't great. There's a level of duty that I think is required of every Muslim service to, inshallah, Islam and Ummah for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What is the merit of fear? And I would say the only real fear worthwhile is fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The implications of that are vast, and I'm going to keep it simple, inshallah, as best as I know. Fear does not profit a man in any way. Qadar is ordained. It is a matter that has been written already. So worrying about what could or what may happen. Fear is processed in the amygdala of the brain. There is a certain neural writing that has occurred that will require rewriting. Potentially the same amount of time to get to a new place from where we began. So two strategies that can be deployed towards addressing fear can be being present and reframing, as well as both. And by reframing, I don't mean affirmation, meditation, or delusional self-Jediing. What I mean is fear has a purpose. It's the final background emotion underlying every operating system of the mind. It is worship. It's connected with our consciousness, and it is unavoidable. Having a fear of fear is not having no fear, but fear should have limits and be directed. By directing our fear, then we can impact our responses and our reactions. FOMO, or the fear of missing out, fear of not maximizing desires. This puts us at mercy of ourselves, rumination of the past, present, and future experiences. Or more external, the fear of rejection or isolation, the mercy of others in our environment. The Prophet ﷺ said two of the worst traits that a man can have are stinginess and cowardice. Anxiety and procrastination also come from the amygdala, but so does vigilance. Be vigilant in your fears. Like a nuclear reactor, your vigilance should help you take action, refrain from actions. If the reactor is too volatile, then there can be meltdowns. And if the reaction are not occurring, then it's not functioning properly. Then there can be stalls or inactivity, which has its own consequences. We need to be vigilant in tying our camels while putting our trust in Allah. Choice, but not control. A couple of examples of reframing can be applied, for example, to university studies. One should reflect, what is it in of itself? And if we look deeply, we can see that the university is not a place for learning, but a place for evaluation. So the anxiety or fear of being externally dependent on the capacity of the educators. Rather, we should go to university when we have mastered teaching ourselves and understanding how we learn. In the professional world, we need to set our own standard of work ethic based on Islam, so that we are making our money halal, not to be at the whims of the supervisor's emotions, whether that be praise or scolding. This, along with being present that this life will end. We do not know our time, and while the thought of death may scare us, that is a taste we will all taste. So when you are overwhelmed What matters is Islam, and what you're stressing out about may not even come to pass. Be present, otherwise you will risk taking away from the quality of your methodology. And so the importance of having our fear be specific and directed towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. What this does is it makes us more focused on the methodology and frees us from the outcome or results. When we get that focus and direction, then this impacts our methodology, which includes refocusing on our gratefulness, our tests, the hereafter outcomes, rather than the worldly outcomes. No effort is wasted, and the perfect utilization of efforts frees us of regret. The freedom of regret occurs specifically through the prayer of istikhara, which will put your heart at ease that this has been written by the Most Wise, the Most Merciful, the All-Knowing, and this life is but a test, and Allah only tests those whom He loves. Fear is filtered through the Islamic framework, whether it's in danger or searching for a spouse. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put the stars in the sky. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the most powerful, the all-powerful. If what you're seeking does not come to you in your preferred time, it is the unknowing that has withheld by the wisdom of the Most Wise, the Most Merciful. Overcoming fear takes training, it takes systems, it takes reflection. There's a preparation that is needed, but experience and requires the rewiring of neurons to have new limits and set new standards. But this has to be earned, it is not given. Taking steps towards moderating small fears then builds the foundation for bigger fears, simple fears for complex fears. Do not think you had control or have control. You have choice. Control implies you can take credit or blame. You have your choices. The choice is either you choose to turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the only one in control, or not. This is what I mean by preparation, along with reflection and thinking, as well as seeking counsel. Do everything you can, but know you have limits and accept that with humility.
I also wanted to take this opportunity to seek refuge with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala against al-riya and any sort of showing off or any other purpose except for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I seek refuge with Allah from ignorance, anger, any of my shortcomings. I hope this series will be beneficial for everybody, including myself. There's a quote from, I'm just going to put his name and the quote in the caption below, but paraphrasing it goes something like, whatever is consistent that I say with the noble Quran and the Sunnah as you understand that was the way of the Prophet ﷺ, then follow that and discard anything that's not consistent with that, regardless of if I'm saying it or if anyone says it. So, Jazakallah khairan, inshallah you and your families are well. Assalamu alaikum.
You were a gladiator.
Yes, I was.
You ask me what I want. I too want to stand in front of the Emperor. As you did.
Then listen to me. Learn from me. I wasn't the best because I killed quickly. I was the best because the crowd loved me. Win the crowd, and you'll win your freedom.
I will win the crowd. I will give them something they've never seen before.
So, Spaniard, we shall go to Rome together and have bloody adventures. Perhaps you will have your freedom. Here. Use this.
On est d'égal et des